In this tutorial we will use the new PCG Biome Core plugin to populate our landscape that we created in Gaea. I will also briefly go over how plugin works under the hood so you can expand its use in your projects. Hi, my name is Mars Freemanis and let's jump into it. So before we are starting, we need to import some trees. I'm just gonna use these Norway maple trees. So after we have downloaded our assets, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go to edit and plugins. We're gonna go PCG and we're gonna enable, I usually just enable all of these, and we're gonna need to enable these two plugins. We're gonna enable Biome Core, yes, and Biome Sample, yes, and restart our engine. So now once we are back, the first thing before we are moving forward and actually working in the setup, I actually want to explain how plugin works and how we can utilize their biome setups in our advantage to create our multi-biome setup. So what we're going to do is we can click settings and make sure to enable show engine content and plugins. We're going to open up engine plugins and we can search for PCG. So there are two folders. We're going to open up the biome sample content, maps, and let's open up the map. So this is the PCG map example that they have gave, and there's a lot of useful tools. Like, let's say we can see that they have like a forest, two different forests, I think even three different forests here, 1, 2, and this looks also different. So 3 different forests. They have desert setting, and then they have modifiers. So one modifier here is, let's say you want in desert for some reason to spawn a forest, so there's a volume. If you're moving around, it's going to regenerate, and it's spawning here the trees in that volume. They have the same thing for a spline, in case if you want a custom shape. Then here's more splines, and they also have example of a road. So let's say if you want to cut out the road, we can do that. There's a graph for that. So they basically give you all the tools that for most of the time, you don't need to create anything extra. So the biggest question is actually how they're handling the biome generation. Because if you have watched my other PCG tutorial, if you've seen my other PCG tutorial where we're going through how to use landscape materials to generate, then if you take a look at this one, if you go paint, they have layers. We would be like, oh, okay, so they are using landscape layers. But if let's say we take a land and we go over and we go mountain and we go shore, we can see the same biome stays here. Absolutely nothing changes. We can paint any material we want and absolutely nothing changes. It refreshes the PCG right now, but we can see the biome stays as it is here. So I just gotta reopen the map. So what they are doing here, and I think it's probably some kind of like Fortnite thing, and we can utilize actually in the landscape generation process, is if we open up this Biome Core, we go down and select Biome Core and open up, and we go down and click these parameter overrides. First override we can see is a texture file. And when you open this up, we can see that they are actually using a texture to spawn different biomes. So red, green, blue, yellow. So if we open up any of the biomes, if you go up, here's multiple biomes like a forest. Yeah. If we select the desert and we open up this desert definition, we can see that they are using a red for the desert. And if you look at the map and open the texture, which is, I believe there's something like this. Oh, like this, yeah. So we can see the red is desert. And so for the other things, they have green, yellow, and we can see this mountain area is yellow. And then probably if we open up again this mountain forest, open this one, and we can see, yes, they're using yellow color. And there's actually one way how we can debug that. So if you go again to this biome core, we go we go down to the biome core and we check this. So if we select this display biome colors, we can actually see that that's what it does. It actually matches exactly this texture file, and it's generating based on the colors, and then these modifiers like a volume and that spline actually changes the colors here. So for example, each biome is assigned to the color, so the blue one, so if you use the volume with that color, it overrides. So what we're gonna do now is we're actually gonna go back to the Gaea, and we're gonna create actually a color mask filters. It's going to be a bit confusing, but just try to follow along and it's going to kind of make sense. So we're going to create a new one and we're going to call this mask. And what we're going to do is for that, we're going to use something called quick color. And this is probably not the way how you should do, but this works for me with the new plugin that is that. This approach works for me. We're going to make always these two colors the same. Okay, so we're gonna make both colors the same, 1 and 2. We're gonna make them the same. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a portal from our erosion. So in case if you don't have it, again, take this output and there's gonna be make a portal. So next one, we're gonna add another quick color, and we're gonna set it up, let's say to the green. Let's start with our trees. Probably the easiest is here. I'm just gonna adjust these numbers, copy and paste. And for this, what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to a burial output. So here's gonna be a bit kind of like where you need to put attention and go slowly. Is for some places we're gonna use output, and for some places we're gonna use basically this masks. Colorize is going to be kind of like a mask, so we're going to use that one. So for this, let's say we're going to make a portal, and now we go to the mask and we're going to get the same portal. Oops, my bad. We're going to get to the portals and we're going to use this arboreal portal. So now we can see the whole landscape is green, and what you can do, we're just going to combine. We're going to combine these both, and we're going to use ratio of 100. And now we can see our whole landscape is green because we are missing a filter for arboreal. So for that, we don't have a mask from our green, so that's why everything is green, because they are combined with 100% green. So our ratio is based on this one. And since our mask is fully white, then everything is green. So what we're going to do is we're going to go here, we're going to find tree mask. So tree mask is here. We're going to put this out and we're going to make another portal for the tree mask. And right here for the mask, we put it out, use go portals, and we're going to use tree mask. And bam. Right now we are exactly the same thing that we had actually in other tutorial. We have here the green color for the trees. So after that, let's add next one. Let's add snow, let's say, for example, quick color. Probably can just use white. So for this, we're gonna go to snowfall. We're gonna get output. Let's get output. Make portal. Let's put a portal here for our snowfall. Then we can just actually we can copy this combine, because we're going to use the same combine over and over again. Again, now everything is white because it's again 100%. We are taking this one based on the mask, which is again mask is empty, so everything is white. So for that, for the mask, we're going to go back and we can search for snow. So snow is going to be second. We're going to make a portal, and we're going to get a snow information as a portal for the snow. And bam. So now the white is only in areas where the white is only in areas where the snow is supposed to be. So after that, and again here it's important, to set up the order. And again, you know, so if we look how we did in actually previous one, then actually I would put probably the grass last one so we get the most grass information. Let's put the grass actually away and see how easy it is to adjust things. Let's put this one last so we make sure that the grass layer is the last one and we get as much grass information as possible. So let's put this one. Let's not get now quick color. We could set up like, I don't know, let's set up red for that one. We can set up red, and I just gonna duplicate the colors, and this is gonna be a shore. So we're gonna go back to the shore, and we're gonna use this multi combine, and we're gonna make a portal. We're gonna use this portal multi combine. We're gonna multi combine this, plug it in. Here we go. And now everything is red, again, because the mask is empty. And to mask it out, you could use this one. Also, actually, for the mask, but the problem is, this is also going to be red. So we need to find something that masks out completely black. These areas. So this one. So this effects node that we created, we're going to use as a make portal. We go back, and we're going to find this portals effects node, and bam. So now we have a red area right here where we want a shore. And the last basically that we need to do is we're gonna copy this again. Quick color. Obviously we're gonna set up to blue. Let's set up to blue. Let's copy and paste these two values. And we're gonna go back now to a lake. So we're gonna have a lake portal. Make portal here, the output. Let's portals lakes. We're gonna again copy and paste for the combine. We're gonna put here. So everything is obviously blue because the mask is empty. We're gonna go back and now we're gonna find lakes, and I think, yeah, this lake mask. We want a lake information, make portal. So we can get lake information, portals, and lakes. You need this, and bam. And now, so the last one, as I said, I actually want our grass information, our tree information be the last one, just to make sure that in these red areas it doesn't disappear. Because if we switch around again, the layers are stacking. So that's why it's important how you adjust them. And here we go. So now we have a color mask that we can actually do. Click here and we can do mark for export. So now if you go to combine again, we can just switch it to the PMG. So before I'm actually pressing start build, I will change these colors because I don't know if the white and black actually can cause us issue. Because I know when there's no biome, it sets the black color. So I'm just gonna quickly change this to, let's say, light blue. Let's set this one actually, the base, to the light blue, and the white one, let's set up to yellow. I guess this is, yes. Yeah, so this is gonna be at the end the full color, because I just want to make sure that the white and black are not causing issues. So let's better set up some color. And now we can just go to the build and click start build. So we are back in our landscape and we can start our setup. So first we're going to start with our forest data asset. So make a right click, go to miscellaneous and add assets. Here we're going to write biome and we're going to select definition template. And we're gonna write BD, biome definition, forest. Open it up. And so here we're gonna write biome name, forest. And we're gonna set up a color. So in our case, it was green. Set up green. Now we can close it. And we're gonna add another data asset. Again, miscellaneous data asset. And we're gonna choose biome asset template. Open up. BT forest. Open it up. And here we can just quickly add a few things for the testing purposes. Later we're just gonna copy probably most of the things from the sample project. But what we're gonna do is in generator we're gonna set it to share trees as a mesh. Currently I'm just gonna set up one of the low poly ones, and then after that we can switch to the, let's say, megascan trees. So we can see we have basically all the parameters that we would normally have in the PCG graph if we are spawning the static mesh. We have like, you know, collisions, a lot of collisions, visible cast shadows and all that for performance thing. Only thing that I'm currently searching for is self-pouring. Yes, that's what we need. We're gonna tick that to make sure that it doesn't overlap the trees. And with that all, we're gonna leave it as a default. So make sure that min and max heights are really high values, so they spawn. Okay, so we have those three things. Next thing that we need is we're gonna add, we're gonna search for core, and we're gonna use PCG Biome Core. And we can also name BP Biome Core. And we can just put it in our level. Like this. This looks great. So currently we're just gonna leave it here so we can double check and test it that it's actually working and spawning before we are doing anything else. So just for the testing purposes, we're gonna add, let's search for the biome. We're gonna use this PCG biome volume, and again, BP biome volume. We can put it here, scale it a bit to something like this. Something like this, and we can just put it up. Probably this is gonna be enough. We can always like move it a bit. And now if you go to the biome core, we actually need to set up this first. So for the definition, we're gonna use our forest definition. And for our forest, we're gonna put forest here in assets. So make sure you can also just add, click this and add this in the asset. For runtime assets, we don't need actually. We can go to biome core, we can move down, and let's debug if it's actually doing something. So let's go here and we're gonna search for debug display, make it true, and let's click generate. And we can see it works. So it recognizes that this area should be green as our biome color that we set up here in definition. And here there's no biome information, so that's why it's in a black color, which is excellent. So we can clean up, and now if we disable this and we click generate, we can see actually nothing is happening because there is global filters. Since my landscape is very, very low, so if we add a plane, just gonna explain what's happening. So we add a plane. The plane is at minus 17,000, and even though we set up here that it's spawning, what is this, 100,000 minus 100,000, it's still not spawning. But for example, if we click this to bypass global filters, we can actually see it's spawning, which is interesting, right? So we can actually see it's actually spawning in the volume. So what we need to do is we need to edit this filter, and how we can do this is we're gonna create a new PCG graph instance. We're gonna call this PCG biome filter, really doesn't matter. So we're gonna open it up, our filter, and what we're gonna do, we're just gonna copy this and we're gonna paste it as a parent. So if we open it up, we can see we have the same things here. We have instances. Actually it comes from this. Maybe it's better to paste this one. Yeah, okay, we're gonna keep the same parent. Let's copy this one. So let's put the parent as Biome Core filters. So now we're gonna open this up. We're gonna click filters. And currently I think we can delete this. I don't want it to override these parameters because currently I want only the min and max height parameters to be overwritten. So we can save this, and now we can put this filter over here, and we can see now our height is correct and it's spawning. So we have overwritten the global filter, which is, I think it doesn't let you to spawn under 0Z. So that's why now we override the height and the max height and min height based on trees where we want them to spawn. And here we go. So this actually looks good and it's working. So next step, since this is working, we can just delete now this for now. Now the next step is, it's kind of a bit tricky, but we need to match this volume to the same size as our landscape. And actually the scaling is a bit weird, but what I would do is I would set these volumes for volume to 1, 1, and 1. So we can get very, very small. And then I would start to scale this to 1. Let's see it 1. Does it show up? So let's go to the top view. And we can briefly see the cube here. So what we're gonna do is in top view, I would start to slowly scale it. Let's put something like 2500. Let's see. Oh, this is actually pretty close. 2500 is actually very close. Yep. So I'm gonna put 2500 for both. Looks like it overlaps pretty well. So we can go back to perspective and we can set the height to something like 5 maybe. No, like 500. So since our landscape is working, we adjusted the volume to match our landscape. So the next thing we can do is let's just create a folder called textures, open up, and let's import our texture for coloring. We can import this, open up our texture, and we need to make few corrections. Make sure this is set to no heightmaps, and we need to change these compression settings to default and uncheck sRGB, and the change to wrapping methods to clamp. So make sure no heightmaps, default, compression settings, uncheck sRGB, and clamp this. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna create another PCG graph instance, and we're gonna call it PCG Biome Texture. Oops, I'm gonna put big T. Biome Texture. Now we're gonna open it up. So we're gonna search for Biome Core. So we can search for Biome Core project texture, and we're getting these parameters now. Let's save this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use landscape as world origin for the texture. So for the texture, we're gonna use our texture. Just gonna put it here. We're gonna need to resize the texture size because this is the part. It's kind of tricky. It's really currently I have fun just eyeballing this, and we're gonna readjust this one channel to project X instead of just X, Y, Z. So this how it should look for the testing purposes. So we're gonna go back to the Biome Core. We're gonna go back to the Biome Core, and we're gonna add this into Biome Texture. We're gonna add our PCG graph. Let's copy it here. And then what we can do is we can click this debug display again, and we're gonna generate. As I said, there's a bit tiling thing, and actually I don't know the correct formula how they calculate it. But what I do is you open this one, and now we can just quickly count. So this is going to be, we can see repetition. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So it's like roughly 20. We're going to clean up everything. Make sure that it's despawned. And then we can just take this number and multiply by 19. And then I'm going to save it. Again, let's save everything before we are regenerating. And now we can go and click generate. Yes, and I think this one looks actually pretty good. Obviously, we can see tiny bit off, but again, you can play with these parameters to adjust it so it totally perfectly matches. But for this tutorial, I think it's going to be good enough. So what we can do now is we can clean up this. We're going to save again. And we're going to create a new blueprint. And we're going to go for biome. And we're going to go for PCG Biome Setup. We can select this one. We're going to go BB. Biome Setup. And we're just going to add probably 2 of them in our scene. So we're going to add 2 of them. We get first one called forest. Other one we're going to call river. So we're going to select the forest one. And if you go up again, let's save all. So we're going to add our definition here. And for the assets, we're going to add our forest here. Then we can just duplicate this. Let's say, the river. Let's open up our river. We can rename this to river. And I believe river was a blue color. Let's double check textures. Yes, that was blue color. So we can set up 0 and 1. I actually gonna change this to 3. So I'm gonna switch up this with these 3 from the Megascans. So we can start to get at least nice. So I'm gonna have these kind of 3s here. So we're just gonna for now 1, 3. Again, you can add multiple ones and look in the sample for the settings. And I'm just gonna duplicate this, and we're gonna call this river. Let's change this to the shared rocks and let's take a look if there's any difference. Basically, what it does, it's there's a sampler. We can take a look at the sampler here. We can actually create our own. But yeah, let's load rocks, and I'm just gonna change this to the rock. I believe. Flat, yeah, this is the rock I download from the Megascans. And we're gonna do the same thing for the river. Let's add this one, and let's do the river definition. And river here. Let's save all. And now we can go to Biome Core. But let's select Biome Core. Deselect this one. So it doesn't spawn debugs. And now we can just generate the actual assets, and hopefully it's gonna look how it should be. So we can see the PCG graph is working, and here we go. We can see it has spawned. So I don't see rocks currently, but I can definitely see trees. So we have trees all over. We're missing the rocks, so probably I will switch. Let's save all. I'm probably gonna switch to the shared trees and see if that's gonna help. And here we go. We can see that our trees and our rocks are spawned, so we can obviously adjust the scale and everything else, but it works. And basically that's how you can use the new plugin. So the last thing actually for our scene to be completely finished, we can just quickly add a plane right here. Let's put it 0, 0. Let's make it like 5,000 by 5,000. I'm gonna move it something like this, and let's search quickly for water material, water cast. Water. I think this is the one. Yeah. So, stochastic water preview. And we can really kind of like adjust it a bit to fit our scene, and look at that. If you go here, we are actually having very wonderful scene that looks really realistic, I think, and adding a few other things, we can make it really nice. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial series. I will definitely gonna make some extra updates. We can add some more stuff to this series, but I hope it worked in your project, and see you in the next one. Bye.